Hi, in this test we're going to enter as part of the month-end process a standard journal, and then we'll requery the system to find that journal, and because the journal was unposted we'll then be able to then manually delete that journal. So the point here is that if the journal was posted we couldn't delete it, but if it's unposted we can delete it. So let's log into Oracle Fusion in the usual way. We sign in, go to General Accounting and go to Journals. So what we want to do is to create a standard journal in the normal way. So from the task list we'll select Create Journal, and we're now ready to create our journal, and it's the same structure as we have in 11i. There's a header and line details, so I'll just give this journal a test name, which we can call Unposted Journal delete test, and I can copy and paste this and add it into journal batch description. So think about your journal naming convention within the business. So this is for accounting period 2 for year 17-18, and how you want to name journals within the organisation. It helps in retrieval purposes later, knowing how you've given it a name. So this is for the UK ledger, and the accounting date is the today's date, which is 2nd of May. And what category do you want for your journal? It could be a accrual type journal, it could be an addition type journal, it could also be an adjustment type journal. So we can have different types of categories of journals that you normally enter in year end. In this example it's addition. So we're happy with the header. Now let's add in the journal lines. So that's with our chart of accounts, new chart of accounts, seven segment structure. So we'll add in the company, location and nominal in this example. Everything else will default to 0. So we'll need 2 lines, so we'll go through this process twice, and for each line we'll also enter in a debit and credit amount as well, and we must ensure also that the debit and credit amount are equal for both lines of this particular journal. And this journal itself is a 2-line journal, but it could be a multi-line journal. On the form it may look like there's only 4 rows, but we could have multiple rows. We could have hundreds of rows, for example. It could be quite a massive journal, but in this example it's quite small. So I've got my account code combination populated. I'm going to enter in a debit amount with amounts, pound amounts and pence amounts there as well. There's an option for a description there on the right if you wanted to have a description for your particular line. You could do that. We're now having the second line of this journal being entered. So similar type of details, company, location and nominal in this particular example. I think location being a different in line 2 than compared to line 1. So we'll continue completing and entering each individual field from clicking on a pick list and choosing default. We could have also clicked search and queried for particular values as well for location and nominal. We just want default values for the remaining segments, so OK to that. And let's ensure that the credit amount for this journal is also the same as the debit, and it is. And I click tab to go into the next cell. Right, so I'm just taking a moment to save the journal, and the 3 options at the top, save, complete and post. We're going to save and complete, and we can see how the status changes to completion being the completion status, and batch status, note that it's unposted, and that's been done purposefully because I want to go back and query this journal, which is why I'm copying its name, so I can query on the exact name and bring it back. So cancel out of the edit journal form at the moment, go back to home, and I want to go back to general accounting, as if I'm trying to say, I'm just arriving on the system, I want to go back and query that journal I've just created. So I go to general accounting and journals to do that, and then in a moment we'll see a task list appear. From here I'm going to click on to manage journals, and I want to query back my journal. And there's lots of ways that you can query your journal. We happen to know what the accounting period is, for example. I could just click search from here and it'd bring me all the journals for a particular accounting period. and that's fine, we can do it that way. And I could do it by batch status as well. Batch status tells us the status of journals, whether they're posted or unposted, for example. And I know it's unposted. So at this point I can click search, and it brings me lots of different journals that are unposted for that particular period. So that's fine. And I need to, if I want to export to Excel, I could do that. So I could export all unposted journals for period 2, year 17-18 to Excel, which is what I'm about to do. And it follows the same structure as journals that you've seen in 11i. So we're going to have a journal name, description, category, and then to debit and credit amounts as well. And notice that the batch status was unposted because that's what we searched for. So that's good. I can see how I can query journals in Fusion and export it to Excel. But what I actually wanted to do was to go and query on my journal. So I'm going to click on Manage Journals. And just that one individual journal that I was looking for, which was in accounting period 02-17-18, I'll put the name in here, which is Unposted Journal. So I should get one journal returned here. So I click on Search, and it will bring it back in a moment. Yep, here it is. And I can see it's unposted and the batch status on the right. And I can click on the journal link to open it. And what I'm interested to do is to see that it's unposted, and I want to delete that because I'm saying, look, this was entered by mistake. Because it's unposted, I mean, I could post it if I wanted to. I don't want to do that. What I actually want to do is delete it. So click on Batch Actions and then Delete. And this will then allow me to delete this journal. So click on Delete. The journal batch will need to be deleted. Do you want to continue? Yes, I do. I do want to delete it. So at this point, it's done. It's off the system. It's deleted. It's not there. I want to check that, so let me do Manage Journals again. Let me put the name in for Unposted Journals, and I can click Search, and it brought nothing back, so I know it doesn't exist. It's not there on the system. So that's the end of this video.